Ever found yourself overwhelmed by the constant stream of notifications, deadlines, and expectations that modern life throws at you? We're living in an age of unprecedented comfort, yet unprecedented anxiety. Maybe you've wondered if there's a better way to navigate the chaos, a framework for finding tranquility without escaping from society. If you've been searching for a philosophy that doesn't require you to abandon your responsibilities, but instead teaches you how to face them with courage and clarity, you might find something valuable in today's discussion. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving into Stoicism, not as some dusty ancient philosophy, but as a practical toolkit for the modern world. What makes this philosophy so enduring is that it addresses the fundamental human experience that hasn't changed in 2,000 years: how to live well in an unpredictable world. The Stoics were dealing with political turmoil, personal tragedies, and uncertain futures. Sound familiar? Yet they developed practices that helped them maintain their composure and find meaning regardless of external circumstances. By the end of this video, you'll understand not just the philosophy, but the concrete practices that can transform how you respond to life's challenges, practices that aren't typically discussed in cursory overviews of Stoicism. Let's begin with the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. The Stoics recognized that much of our suffering comes from trying to control things beyond our influence. Epictetus, a former slave who became one of Stoicism's great teachers, put it simply: some things are within our power, while others are not. Think about your daily frustrations. Traffic jams, delayed flights, other people's opinions, economic fluctuations. We have limited or no control over these. Yet how much mental energy do we waste being angry about them? I remember sitting in a 3-hour traffic jam, growing increasingly frustrated until I asked myself, can I do anything about this situation right now? The answer was no. What I could control was my response to it. I used that time to listen to an audiobook I'd been cutting off. The traffic didn't move any faster, but my experience of it transformed. The modern application is striking. Consider social media outrage, where we expend emotional energy on events happening thousands of miles away that we cannot influence. Or workplace anxiety over decisions made by upper management. The Stoic approach isn't passive resignation, it's strategic focus. By directing your energy toward what you can control, your judgments, your actions, your responses, you reclaim your power in any situation. The second principle might seem counterintuitive: negative visualization. The Stoics practiced what they called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evils. Far from being pessimistic, this practice involves periodically contemplating the loss of what you value, your health, relationships, possessions, not to induce anxiety, but to deepen gratitude and prepare for life's inevitable challenges. When was the last time you truly appreciated having a roof over your head? Clean water? The ability to walk without pain? We tend to take these for granted until they're threatened. By occasionally imagining life without them, you cultivate a profound appreciation for what you have right now. This practice also builds resilience. By mentally rehearsing difficulties, you develop contingency plans and emotional preparation. Think of it as a psychological immune system. The Suno who considers potential market downturns isn't being negative, they're being prudent. Similarly, the Stoic who contemplates personal setbacks isn't wallowing in misery, they're building mental fortitude. Before we move on to the third principle, I want to take a moment to talk about this channel. If you're finding value in these discussions about practical philosophy and living a more intentional life, consider subscribing and hitting that notification bell. Each week, we explore ideas that can help you navigate life's complexities with greater wisdom and clarity. Your subscription supports more content like this and builds our community of thoughtful individuals seeking a deeper approach to modern living. Now, let's explore the third principle, the view from above. Marcus Aurelius, the philosopher emperor, regularly practiced stepping back from his immediate concerns to gain perspective. He wrote, "Think of the whole universe of matter and how small your share. Think about the expanse of time and how brief your allotted portion." This cosmic perspective isn't meant to make you feel insignificant, but to liberate you from narrow thinking. When you're caught up in office politics or neighborhood drama, zoom out. Imagine viewing these situations from a mountaintop or from space or from the perspective of 100 years in the future. Suddenly, what seemed all-consuming becomes appropriately sized. I practice this when I catch myself obsessing over a critical comment or a minor setback. I ask, will this matter in 5 years? In 1 year? Even in 1 month? Usually, the answer is no. This doesn't invalidate your current feelings, but it does help allocate your emotional resources more wisely. The fourth principle brings us to the heart of Stoic ethics, virtue as the sole good. The Stoics believed that living virtuously, with wisdom, justice, courage, and temperance, was both necessary and sufficient for a good life. External things like wealth, health, and reputation were preferred, but not essential for happiness. This runs counter to our culture's messaging. We're told that happiness comes from accumulation, more money, more status, more experiences. The Stoics challenge this directly. They ask, would you rather be a wealthy tyrant or an impoverished sage? Would you sacrifice your integrity for comfort? When we consider these questions honestly, we often recognize that character matters more than circumstance. Consider Viktor Frankl, who found meaning in the concentration camps by choosing his response to suffering. Or consider everyday heroes who maintain their principles despite temptations to compromise. Their examples remind us that virtue isn't just an abstract ideal, but a practical path to dignity and satisfaction regardless of external conditions. This doesn't mean asceticism or rejection of comfort. The Stoics enjoyed life's pleasures but weren't dependent on them. They understood that attachment to things outside our control creates vulnerability. By investing primarily in your character, you build a happiness that cannot be taken away by changing fortune. The final principle bridges ancient wisdom with modern psychology, the cognitive nature of emotions. The Stoics recognized that our emotions aren't direct responses to events, but to our judgments about events. As Epictetus wrote, it has not been to disturb us, but our judgments about things. This insight anticipated cognitive behavioral therapy by 2 millennia. When you feel angry, anxious, or disappointed, a Stoic would ask, what judgment is generating this emotion? Is it accurate? Is it helpful? Is there another perspective? For example, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you might think, that disrespectful jerk deliberately cut me off. This judgment produces anger. But what if you considered an alternative? That person might be rushing to an emergency, or perhaps they simply made a mistake, as we all do sometimes. Same event, different judgment, different emotional response. This isn't about suppressing emotions, but about engaging with them intelligently. Emotions provide valuable information, but they don't have to dictate your actions. By examining the judgments underlying your emotions, you gain freedom to respond rather than merely react. So what does a modern Stoic practice look like? It's not about wearing a toga or suppressing feelings. It's about starting your day with intentional reflection, perhaps journaling about what lies ahead and how you want to approach it. It's about pausing before responding to provocations. It's about regular reflection on your values and whether your actions align with them. It's about finding moments of perspective on the daily pressures. Stoicism doesn't promise an absence of difficulty, but offers something better, the capacity to face whatever comes with dignity and equanimity. In a world of constant change and challenge, that capacity is invaluable. As we wrap up today's discussion, I'd like to leave you with one thought from Marcus Aurelius. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. This simple truth has the power to transform how you experience every aspect of your life. If you found this exploration of Stoicism valuable, please hit that like button and share your thoughts in the comments below. How might these principles apply to challenges you're facing right now? Your perspective enriches our community's understanding. And if you haven't already, subscribe to join us for more deep dives into philosophies and practices that can enhance your life. Check the description below for ways to support the channel and for recommended readings if you want to explore Stoicism further. Until next time, remember that true freedom begins with mastering yourself.